Good morning, everyone. I am so excited because I have two of the most amazing people who I love here today with me, Dia Rawson and Rick Allen. And they are both writers for Dancing Elephant Press, as well as they created a magical place that you can see behind me, which they're going to tell you more about. But I just have to tell you before we go into further into this that I just love the stories and the books they created so much for children with the drop of wisdom. And they created something that I think gonna go on for generations and generations. And it's gonna be one of those things that hopefully my grandchildren and great grandchildren are still going to enjoy. So without more to this, the purpose of this is to spread the word of this beautiful company, Tiny Tales, and the books and the stories they create. So, Dia, can you please tell us a little bit more about why the two of you started this company?
Well, we were doing Drabbles for one of the writers here on Medium. She had issued a daily challenge, and we kind of got together over that. We were doing this daily challenge and trying to keep up every day with a new word, a new word, a new word. And we're talking to each other one day, and we said, this is such a unique concept. What if we did it for children? Ooh, we like that idea. That seemed to be a great idea. And we thought, what if it was a children's Drabble and it had a point to it? It had an actual moral message that says, don't steal, don't push people, don't be a bully, don't whatever, love your parents, treat people kindly. All these messages that, quite honestly, between the two of us, we're thinking a lot of the children today aren't getting in the homes. So we thought, well, here's a good way to do that, and we can provide it to them economically. We could provide these books that are economical, and it would be something that would stay in the home. And like you say, it could be handed down from generation to generation to generation. So that's why we started it.
Thank you so much, Dia. And that was a great idea, I think. And I'm very happy that I wrote a few of those rabbles and plan to do more of them. Um, Rick, can you please tell us what a drabble is for the people who don't know what it is?
A drabble is a discipline. To write a drabble, you're going to tell an entire story. You're going to start with the premise, introduce your characters, then you're going to have the drama, and at the end, you're going to have a lesson that your characters are going to learn by going through the drama. And you're going to do all of that in 100 words exactly, not 101, not 99 words. And I used to be an engineer. I like the discipline. This is when I started, it was not an easy task because I
Mhm.
write longer articles. But focusing tightly, I got my first drabble at 100 words, and I thought, oh, how wonderful. And from that point on, they became easier. I started thinking in the way of 100 words.
Mhm.
So those are drabbles.
And can you give us an example of what would be a point made by a drabble?
Okay, I I print my drabbles, and occasionally I go through them again because you asking this question. I came up with 12 drabbles that told a specific lesson. Most of them teach different lessons. This one at hand teaches determination and perseverance. Very simple. And it relates to a children's soccer game. There's another one that relates to uh, picking yourself up after you fall. Very simple. We teach humility, patience, but my favorite Now, most of these drabbles are fiction. They're just, one of them is not. I wrote this drabble for adults. And it's not fiction. I wrote it on April 2nd, which is International Children's Book Day. And may I read it?
Absolutely, please.
Night's quiet embrace unfolds. I open the pages of Tom Sawyer with my daughter, pardon me, who was nestled under the blankets. Each word was a magic spell, casting us back to the days of mischief and adventure. As Tom and Huck enjoyed their escapades, her eyes sparkled with wonder, mirroring the glow of our single lamp. In these moments, pardon me, in these moments, time stood still, and the world outside faded away. It wasn't a story, but a bridge between hearts, a shared journey into imagination, more precious than gold. This transition wove the fabric, or tradition wove the fabric of dreams and laughter, switching us closer with every page turned. Sorry about that. Like I said, it's not fiction.
It's
Well, I think it should
beautiful.
be pointed out, there was a drabble and then there was a commentary. And that's something that we like to do, particularly when we write in some venues like Medium, is we like to add a little commentary to it. One of the things that we're doing now is adding the commentary in the books. The book, this is the very first one that we put out. Looks like this. Now we put this out with the idea in mind that it would be kept in the home and be read. It did not have the commentary, and we thought, maybe we're missing the opportunity here to have the parents, after they read the drabble, explain what that means and put it in terms that, or a reference that the kid can understand. For example, we wrote a story about Candy is Dandy, and it's based on a true story. When I was a kid, I stole a candy bar. I think a lot of kids have done that from time to time. So in this particular instance, the child steals some candy. And then as a result of stealing the candy, the father explains what the problem is of doing that. And in returning the candy, she realized it was better to do that. And so he's able to, with the commentary, he's able to say, do you remember the time? Or can you imagine yourself in this circumstance? And that teaches the lesson. We like to say that we create the stories that create moments, that create memories. And
I
that's,
was just going to ask you about that. They are
yes,
perfect.
that is, that is so important. It's that is, to me, the kind of the whole point of the thing, because Rick and I are both 77. We're not young kids anymore, but we both have kids. I have a ton of grandchildren and great grandchildren, and as I think about them, I think about, well, what are their lives going to be like compared to ours? Rick and I grew up in the 50s and 60s, and times were so simple. My goodness. When I was a little kid, the brief time that I had to be a kid, which was between 0 and 9.5, the brief time that I had, I remember going out when I was 5 or 6 years old, playing until my parents, we didn't have street lamps because we were on country roads, but my mother would just go out, and she had an old cowbell, and she'd just go bang, 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 bang. Oh, I knew no matter where I was, I could be over in the next farm and hear that damn cowbell. And I knew it was time to come home. So that's what we did back then. Well, today, who would think about leaving your kids on the street? They could get a drive-by, they could get run over, they could get abducted, they could get anything that could happen to them. So it's a different world that we live in, but still these values remain. And that's the important part. And that's why Rick and I do this.
Thank you so much, dear. I did want to ask Rick, how long you guys been doing this, and how big is your team?
We officially started on April 1st this year. And we have 5 on the team. And we each have our specialties, and 3 of us are writers.
Wonderful. And this question is for both of you. What you guys feel, what you have accomplished so far
Oh,
in Tiny Tales?
let me go after that, Rick. I just finished writing a paper what we've accomplished because to me we've accomplished a lot. Think about this now. We on Tuesday we'll publish our third Tiny Tales book, our third book.
Looking forward to that
Shortly
one.
after that, we'll be publishing our first Tiny Tales summer journal. And the summer journal is designed, it's 90 pages. It's designed to ask questions of the writer, things like, what if? Have you thought about what keeps you from those kinds of things? So they're prompts so the writer can fill it in. Do you remember the first time you saw your child? Those kinds of questions, those things that they can fill in that will be memorable. Just imagine 50 years from now when they're gone and their children read that. Wow, that's what dad thought. That's what mom thought. Those are really precious moments, precious memories. So that's why we created the journal. Then we thought, well, you know what would be a lot of fun? Let's create a coloring book. So that's in the works as well. That'll be out shortly. And we're probably a fourth of the way through that venture. So we've got that. We have 33 videos on YouTube. So we've taken the stories like the one that Rick just read, and we created a video from it. And these videos are 1 minute each. By the way, it takes about 30 seconds, 40 seconds to read a drabble. It takes 1 minute to watch the video. And each video's got a little character in it. And
And
that
I love them.
the characters are
So
just
cute.
so much fun.
Yes.
It's just hard not to have fun. You know, everything from an old-fashioned robot to a big old bear who says, "Boy, I'm a bear and I like a," you know, and those kinds of things. And kids relate to that. So we're doing those videos. And then we're out on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and we're out on X. So we're also doing notes. We occasionally put notes out on Substack. And of course, we have a website, TinyTales.Press. At present, we have 5 weeks worth of drabbles out there. Ultimately, we hope to have an app with, and we're pretty close to it, an app that will be a subscription so that for $5 a month, you can go out on your iPad or your iPhone or Galaxy or whatever you have, or out on the web, and you can read a story like this to your children and talk about it. And that's going to be pretty cool. And if they want to then see videos, you can bounce from that story right to a video. So all of that's going to be out there. And right now, you can go out to TinyTales.Press. And if you look up our stories, you'll see there's 5 weeks worth. Just pick a week, and there's 7 stories in each week. And we have a lot more to put out there. So
That
what have
is
we
so
accomplished?
amazing.
We have all that, plus we have several other projects in the works. We've designed them. We haven't done anything about them yet, but we're designing them. We're in the process of gathering the materials for them, and they're kind of exciting, including a podcast. So that's what we've done. We we used to be sitting on our thumbs. Now we don't know where our thumbs are. We can't find them.
So that is a lot of accomplishment in 2.5 months. And I just have to say, head down for both of you for doing this amazing work. I do love the Drabbles. I like to see them on Medium. I watch the YouTubes and I reviewed a few of the books and I enjoy them all and we'll be highly recommending them. So we'll add all this information, how to reach you guys and how to get the books and where to read the stories below the video. And is there anything else that we didn't talk about, Rick or DR, that you guys want to add about Tiny Tales at this time?
Rick?
Um, no, I think you did a wonderful job explaining that. I got tired just listening to you.
As did I. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for both of you for being here. And I'm very excited for your projects. I'm looking forward to participate and also to read more of these wonderful stories.
Well, thank you, Gabriella. We appreciate you willing to interview us. It's wonderful to have you do that and have friends like you. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Have a
Thank you.
beautiful day, everyone.